What is up, everybody? Welcome in to the Fantasy Tap and welcome into our Listener League Week 2 recap and our Week 3 preview. We're going to update you on the standings, who won, who lost, what waiver ads and drops they made, and just update you guys on the league in general. John, how are you doing? And how are you liking this league so far?
I love this league. This is one of my favorite leagues because I have no stake in it, but I can watch everything unfold and make completely judgmental calls on everyone's play. Realistically, though, I think that this is a great thing because on Sundays I just get to sit there, scroll through. It's like watching 12 additional football games or 6 additional football games. So I'm actually pretty excited to go through this week because there's a lot of players that really just blew out their opponents. And
Yes.
when you go and look through the teams and see what happened, what led to it, a lot of it just comes down to studs not performing and benching waiver streaming players that outperform them. And so it's going to be an interesting episode. It's an interesting
It
week for sure.
definitely is. It definitely is. Real quick, guys, if you could do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that little bell next to that so you get notified anytime we drop our videos. Also, if you've never seen this series before, this is like I said, this is our listener league. The winner of the league gets this full-sized autographed Kyler Murray helmet. We do this every year. We'll be doing it next year. We did it last year. Tyreek Hill helmet. And if you win the league, you automatically get into the following year. So make sure you keep an eye out next year when we do this because follow along, watch how it turns out this year and the next year. You could be entered into win one of these because we like to do full-sized helmets. Pretty cool. And they're always big name players.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if you go back, it seems that we always pick the player that's breaking out or going to be the number 1 or 2 at their position on the year. Last year, Tyreek Hill finished at number 2, coming off a 31 wide receiver 31 season. Kyler Murray looking to be quarterback 1 by the end of the year, and you're going to want that signature coming off of an amazing possible MVP season, meaning that helmet is going to be that much more valuable sitting on your shelves or in your eBay auctions after you win it.
It's true. It's true. So, but without any further ado, let's jump into these matchups.
Here, I'll start us off. Best game of the week. I'm sorry, not best game of the week, but top of the week. We got Miles going up against the Aaron Rodgers fan club.
It was a beatdown.
It was an absolute beatdown. Sorry, there is one game that was a great matchup, and I was watching it up until about Monday night. But Miles did have an absolute dominating week. A majority of this coming from the fact that he was able to maximize the most points on his teams, not leaving any additional points on the bench this week. And what actually helped him win was just, like I said, a lack of production from his star performance coming from the Aaron Rodgers fan club. A lot of players just not putting up points. Having 2 wide receivers, both Darnell Mooney and Zach Pascal, outscore both of his flex receivers, Kenny Golladay and Jalen Waddle, and even outscoring A.J. Brown this week. So that definitely helps push him up into the winner's circle. So congrats, Miles, on that W.
Aaron Rodgers fan club definitely left points on the bench. AJ Brown obviously did not perform up to expectations. Here's their benches, guys, just so you have an idea. Like John said, Zach Pascal outscored Jalen Waddle and Kenny Golladay and AJ Brown. Obviously, Miles Sanders put up a dud. It was just a dud week all around. He only scored 89 points in this matchup. So Hugh Miles put up 150. So it was a pretty convincing win. Having Aaron Jones, just kind of rubbed some salt on that, because he was already up. He was already winning. So that kind of shoved his face in the dirt a little bit, but it is what it is. Good matchup overall. So both teams move on to 1-1. Let's get over to Cam Newton burner phone and TK Brad Hinton. Cam Newton's burner phone took the dub, his first dub of the year. beating TK Brad 126-79. And quarterbacks are pretty evenly matched. Actually, TK Brad's outscored him. But the biggest difference was the consistency in the tight ends and the bottom two in the wide receiver positions. Keenan Allen, Julio Jones, Juju Smith-Schuster, TJ Hawkinson all scored double-digit points for Cam Newton's burner phone.
Yeah, again, this is that situation where those studs just stunk it up. Brad Hinton rostering and starting guys like Alvin Kamara, Robbie Anderson, Antonio Brown, and George Kittle this week. None of those guys put up more than 5 points. And that was something that you're obviously going to start a majority of these players. So they're going to find their way into your lineup. And he did his best. Not leaving a lot of points on the bench either. So there wasn't much opportunity for Brad in this week. And I'm sorry to say it.
Yep. So again, both of these guys moving to 1-1. Moving over, Redbirds 2K21 versus Team Suck It Easy. I mean, it was respectable. They both put up over 130 points. Redbirds putting up 133. Team Suck It Easy dominating, getting the dub with 153, so scoring 20 more points. And even with Lamar Jackson, it wasn't enough for Redbirds 2K21.
Yeah, this was absolutely the matchup of the week coming out of it. The closest scoring game and still being a situation where you've got a 20-point difference between the two teams. Redbird was able to put up a really solid week, but he did leave more than enough behind on his bench to have lost it easy, really skating by with that great defensive play out of Tampa Bay. And then the Tyler Lockett obviously blows you up. And having King Henry, I was going to say, and having King Henry definitely pushes you above the finish there. If Derrick Henry had a bad week or didn't put up 44 points, if he took 20 points off Henry's week, which is absolutely reasonable, that would have been a loss for him. So I would say Suck It Easy skated by on this win on the back of Henry.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I would agree with you there. And I mean, like you said, he didn't leave too many points on the bench, but Redbirds definitely did with Henry Ruggs there on the bench over Melvin Gordon. Henry Ruggs scoring 20, Melvin Gordon putting up 7.9. Good matchup, good game, guys. Both of those teams also moving to 1-1. So we got a lot of 1-1s here. Now let's move over. Cops and Rogers versus the Frothy Pigs. We were talking about this matchup at the end of last episode, how this could really show people that Cops and Rogers is a solid team. He could put up a fight, but unfortunately that did not happen. Frothy Pigskins just took it to him 138-107. Kyler Murray is just a monster. He is carrying this team. I mean, week one, obviously.
Well, not just Kyler Murray.
No, not just Kyler Murray, but consistently.
You got Cooper Kupp in there too.
Oh, yes, I forgot. He does have Cooper Kupp. So the wide receiver one. And of course, he's got Tyreek Hill, who didn't do anything this week, but he had D-Hop and CeeDee Lamb put up respectable numbers, double-digit games. And same with his tight end, Noah Fant, putting up a double-digit game. I mean, and he's getting by. This is Frothy Pigskins did go 0 RB this draft. And he's getting by. He's getting what he needs from his running backs. And he even left some points on the board with Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary being the highest scoring running back. And he did not play him on his team. So overall, solid day for him, doing what his running backs doing what he needs them to do. Hopefully Cops and Rogers can turn it around.
Yeah, I honestly think that we're looking at the team to beat here. He's got 3 players on his bench that any team would have been extremely happy to have. He might have the league by the cojones, you know? He could start making some trades, and if he doesn't feel comfortable with those running backs, he might be able to finish up that roster with those amazing quarterback, those 3 high-end wide receivers, and then 4 high-end wide receivers, and then shore it up with some of those bench people turning into some running backs possibly for you. I think it's the team to beat. And then I do think that Cops and Rogers, a great team. There's a lot of talent, but again, just a lot of these stud players, Jonathan Taylor, Antonio Gibb, and Allen Robinson, just not doing enough to even make themselves a reasonable pick in the draft if you got them.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Copson Rogers does have a good team, and I think he will get it together. But he needs all of his studs to hit and hit consistently. So let's see if that happens moving forwards. Copson Rogers did go down to 0-2. Frothy Pigskins is our league leader, 2-0 with the most points on the year. Let's get to the Banana Stand versus PNW 360. The Banana Stand takes this one, getting his first win of the year over PNW 360, 129-105. Patrick Mahomes and Najee Harris really did it for him, as well as Travis Kelce, of course, in that tight end spot. And you can't forget the Buffalo Bills defense, even though it hurts me to say, just putting up 22 points. That helped push him over the top.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting week. Obviously, I think PNW made some really good decisions when he set his lineup this week. Yeah. He went up and obviously took Tyler Higbee out, put Rob Gronkowski in. You know, I like that a lot. And
Mark Andrews. Put Mark
Andrews, sorry. And then he didn't buy into the Christian Kirk hype and actually came out and played some other guys that could have had big weeks, like Corey Davis, obviously underperformed, but still someone that possibly had a better opportunity than Christian Kirk. That one play alone wasn't going to be enough to push him over into the win. But I do like that he's thinking more and not just following the trends. Right. As far as Banana Stand, you've got a Patrick Mahomes and Kelce stack. As long as Mahomes has a good day or Kelce has a good day, you're solid.
It's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat him.
That defense obviously pushed him into that W, and that's something that you can always be happy about. You know, a lot of people not big into having defenses into fantasy at this point in the fantasy universe, but I like it because you get situations like this where a team could literally just blow out someone else or barely skate by off of a random defense just blowing up.
Yeah. And he played the wrong handcuff. He played AJ Dillon over Tony Pollard, which obviously just would have more salt in that wound. But overall, good game there for the Banana Stand. And I don't think it's over for PNW whatsoever, because he does have a solid team, starting there with Russell Wilson. So hopefully his team can turn it around. Both of those guys move to 1-1. And finally, our last matchup of the week, that is D. Segrest and KBKC 79. Segrest played Dak Prescott and still got the dub. This was not the prettiest game. 101 points to 67 points. Definitely not the best quarterback play. Dak Prescott going up against Jameis Winston. But at the end of the day, Segrest squeaks out a win.
Yeah, barely pulls it out. He actually only scored 20 points between his quarterback, wide receiver one, the defense, and his tight end. So really only being able to scoot by on the fact that the other team just had a bust of a day. Jameis Winston, Saquon Barkley leading the pack. Some things that I do like to see, again, from KBKC was being a little unique, not following the chalk, and just trying to predict good and at least trying to be more active. He did sit Robert Tonyan, put in Tyler Kroft over that. So he took a shot there. Sometimes those shots don't hit, and it didn't this week, but maybe one day it will. And then did take the shot on benching Michael Pittman for De'Ami Brown. So I remember week one, he talked to us. He told us he's expecting De'Ami Brown to do something. So it seems he's just waiting for that breakout. And if it comes, it comes. Obviously, just playing either both of those guys over the two that they could have started over wouldn't even have won him the week. So I do think that he's someone that we need to keep an eye on. He's someone that'll probably play the waivers very, very strongly and could sneak into the playoffs, even starting 0-2 this year, if he can start getting on track.
Yeah, I agree with that. He just got to get these guys to hit. DK Metcalf, obviously, it's been Tyler Lockett show there in Seattle. I don't think that stays. So I do think the tides will turn for his team and he'll squeak out a couple wins. Also, Saquon Barkley think another guy who's going to start putting up, being a little more competitive and helping him get those dubs. So, and then Kareem Hunt not doing his usual. That definitely hurt him this week. So, yep. Seagrass moves to 2-0, and KBKC 7-9 moves to 0-2. Let's take a look at the league standings real quick before we move over to these what these guys did with their rosters. Frothy Pigskins at the top, 2-0, points for 319. That is by far the most points, almost by 70. DC Grass is in second, the only other 2-0 team, but only has 251 points. Team Suck It Easy is actually 1-1. He's actually got the second most points, but is 1-1. He's got 280 points. So if it comes down to a tiebreaker between him and Seagrass right now, it would be, that could get interesting later on. Miles, who was 0-1, is now 1-1 with 257 points barely ahead of the Banana Stand, who is in fifth place at 1-1 with 256 points. So only 1 point right there separates our fourth and fifth contestants or teams. And then Cam Newton's burner phone is 1-1. That would be the last playoff spot if the playoffs were to start today. With 229 points. Redbirds 2K21 1-1, 217 points. TK Brad 1-1 with 214 points. PNW 360 1-1 with 206. Aaron Frogers Fan Club 1-1 with 203 points there in the 10th position. And then Cops and Rogers 0-2 with 181 points. And then finally, to round it out, KBKC is dead last at 0-2 with the 170 points for. So it could get really interesting, I think, especially, between that those 2, 3, and 4 spots down the road.
Yeah, I think it's really nice. I mean, we can't count our guy Danny Seagrist out. Him and Frothy Pigskins are both the only undefeated teams so far. But something that you do want to note and keep mind of, Suck It Easy, third in the league, has the most points scored against him by a large margin, only losing to Frothy Pigskin so far. So that team is quietly dominating. And if, a good week of matchup or a good couple weeks of matchups go on, he could be someone that might be leading the league in a couple weeks if Frothy Pigs can get knocked down.
Yeah.
Seagrass could be a problem. And then, as mentioned, Cam Newton's burner phone, he's sitting down there squeaking weeks very, very tightly. If there was a team that I think could fall the most, I think it might be that. And then obviously, I do think that Cops and Rogers might sneak way up there, even though he has barely scored 180 points so far between these 2 weeks, and not having a great one this week.
Definitely. So let's jump over to these waiver claims. Waivers ran today. We'll start here. Miles beat out Cops and Rogers for KJ Osborne, $17 bid. He ended up dropping LaVisca Chenault. Now, LaVisca Chenault does have, or did practice fully, but does have that shoulder injury and hasn't really been performing up to par. So different, I think, in my opinion, I think LaVisca, he's going with the consistency, whereas LaVisca adds that upside. He also went in and grabbed Quintez Cephas. So he's definitely wanting to rework that wide receiver spot. Miles is dropping Gabe Davis. And then Wilson picked up probably the defense of the week, in my opinion, and the Panthers.
Defense of the year.
Yeah, I mean, so far, yes. But this week, I think they're going to do very well. Dropping the New Orleans Saints defense to pick the Panthers up. Miles also picked up J.D. McKissick, dropping KJ Hamler. KBKC picked up Sam Darnold. Good pickup there. I like that pickup for him. Dropping Tony Jones, though. That I think for now it's going to work, but if something happens to Alvin Kamara, I think Tony Jones may be, one of the highest sought after guys that are on the waivers. And then finally, as far as the fab goes, fab budget, Cops and Rogers picked up Alexander Madison, dropping Baker Mayfield, which is a good idea this week, in my opinion, and grabbed Dalvin Cook's handcuff. So I like that. Couple other moves that were made. Las Vegas Raiders getting picked up, dropping the Green Bay Packers by Cam Newton's burner phone. Michael Carter was picked up by Miles 707, dropping Marquez Valdez-Scantling. We've got Miles also picking up Cordell Patterson and then dropping Michael Carter. So he can't really make up his mind there. And Seagrass picks up Michael Carter and drops Tevin Coleman. So it's been an active day for Michael Carter.
Yeah, he's been getting moved around a lot.
Yeah, I would say so. So before we let you guys go, let's jump into our week 3 matchups, who's playing who and who we're looking forward to, and what games we're looking forward to. So Cam Newton's burner phone is matched up against Miles 707. Currently, Cam Newton's burner phone is favored 60% to 40%, 133 to 126. Aaron Rodgers fan club is favored 129 to 121 against TK Brad Hinton. Frothy Pigskins and Redbirds 2K21 are matched up this week. Frothy Pigskins is the favorite, 133 to 124. Cops and Rogers looking to get his first win against a very solid team here. He is actually favored right now, 122 to 121. So 51 to 49%. Very close. DC Grest against PNW 360. 124 to 119. DC Grest is the favorite. And then rounding it out, the Banana Stand is playing KBKC and is highly favored 80% to 20%, 122 to 102. Now, I think KBKC makes some tweaks to his team definitely for this week, but it's going to be an interesting one. Do any matchups stick out to you, John?
The Cam Newton burner phone versus Team Miles is sitting up here looking pretty freaking awesome. I'm really liking the Justin Herbert versus Tom Brady stack, the Christian McCaffrey versus Aaron Jones. We'll have to see what goes on there. And then obviously Frothy Pigskins so far every week is going to be someone to keep an eye on. Redbirds last week did put up a semi-solid week, had a lot of his studs just not perform for him. So I do think that we'll see another great and tight matchup. And as far as blowouts coming, or actually someone I think could be a sleeper on the week is KBKC. Just making a couple tweaks to his team could end up beating out the Banana Stand. So we'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah, that would be a huge win for KBKC. I'm pulling for Cops and Rogers to get his first dub. I think that's going to be a fun matchup. If he can beat this team, if he can beat Suck It Easy, who's currently in third with the second most points in the league, I think that'd be a statement win for him. Couldn't get it done against Frothy Pigskins, but I think he's got the team to do it this week. He's got Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Rodgers. He's got very solid receivers and consistent. He needs to pray that Tyler Lockett does not just completely go off and Derrick Henry doesn't have another 50-point game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Those are our matchups. Those are our matchups that we are looking forward to. That is everything that happened in week 2, all the waiver runs and things like that. Oh, I am excited. For this rest of the season. I mean, this week's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited. Another week, another games. I'm excited. Let's do it. Week 3, baby.
Week 3. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe, like this video. This is a YouTube only video, so this is just for you guys, the watchers. So please, that'd be awesome if you guys could just smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, click that little bell, because we are going to be live every Sunday, and we do go live randomly. We just did our waiver wire pickups on a live stream as well. So tune in Sunday. Watch out for our next week's episode of the Listener League update. All right, guys, we'll see you. Thank you.
All right, guys, see ya.